The Shabbat is Parshat Tzav, and it's also Shabbat Hagadol, the great Shabbat, the Shabbat before Pesach. Is there a connection between these two? And I think there is. In Parshat Tzav, the Kohanim are given their duties, their commands. They are told how they're going to be inaugurated into their service. This is Aaron and his 4 sons, and they are going to be the priests of the Jewish people. And they are going to be the ones primarily responsible for the sacrifices. A person would bring a sacrifice. He was allowed to slaughter it, even if he was not a Cohen. But from that point on, the Kohanim had to do the entire avodah, all of the duty. It was something that your average non-Kohen did not do. It was the duty of Aaron and his family. Shabbat Hagadol commemorates that day before the Exodus, the 10th of Nisan, which was a Shabbat, that all of the Jewish people, all of the Israelites in Egypt, took either a sheep or a goat and set it aside for the 14th of Nisan, on which they would slaughter it, put the blood on the doorposts, roast it whole, and eat it that night with matzah and maror, with unleavened bread and with bitter herbs. That's what we commemorate. That's what we remember happened on Shabbat Hagadol, the great Shabbat, just before the Exodus happened. What is the difference between the two? In Parshat Tzav, it's about a certain family that are given the privilege of being the Kohanim, the priests. They're going to do the avodah. But that original Shabbat before the Exodus, everyone, every single family was really a Kohen, a priest. There were no intermediaries involved. There were no secondary people. The person, the head of the household, took that sheep or that goat on the 10th day, set it aside for 4 days, and on the 14th of Nisan slaughtered it. Put the blood on the doorposts and on the lintel. This was in place of the altar, because obviously there was no altar in those days in Egypt. And then roasted the meat and ate it that night. Everybody was really a Kohen. They were doing the avodah. They were doing a service. And it's very interesting that the Torah refers to the whole Pesach ceremony, the whole Pesach Seder, the Pesach sacrifice as an avodah. It is a service. One of the children asks at the Pesach Seder, Maha avodah hazot lachem? What is a service to you? What happens is that every single year on Pesach, we relive this experience. It's true, we might not slaughter the Pesach sacrifice. We don't have the temple. But everything else we do. We have our matzah, we have our maror, we're telling over the story. We are like the Kohanim. And in fact, there is a custom amongst Ashkenazi Jews that the person leading the Seder, and sometimes others also, wear a kittel, which is a simple white robe. And some say that this is to keep us humble and not become arrogant, because it reminds us of the shrouds. But the Maharal says, no, we don't remember death on this night. This is a beautiful night. This is a yontif. This is a night of incredible joy and thanks to Hashem. Rather, the kittel reminds us of the clothing of the Kohen Gadol that he would wear on Yom Kippur. Everybody is like a priest in their own home. And that's what we are celebrating. Sometimes they are Kohanim, and sometimes every family are their own priestly family. And this we do every single year when we celebrate Pesach, which is coming up soon. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.